Hi everybody, this is TheGreenFrog here, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today we're going to be doing a tutorial for a command block stopwatch that I created myself in Minecraft. So, how this is going to work is on the right side of your screen, when we have it activated, it will show the seconds and milliseconds. So it's accurate to a game tick, which is a 20th of a second, or 0.05 seconds. It won't actually show it until we're done, because to make the calculation from like game ticks to seconds and milliseconds, so it's a lot easier to tell how long it actually was. That calculation will have to be done after the timer has been stopped. But yeah, it works really well. So I'm going to be doing a tutorial on this. Obviously, you will need to be in creative mode with operator permissions, considering that you're going to need command blocks to create this contraption. But yeah, so let's start this. So you're going to need, I'm playing in 1.11.2. I'm not sure if it would work in earlier or later versions. You obviously have to be in 1.9 or later, since we're using command chain and repeating command blocks. And I'm not sure if it'll work in like 1.9 or 1.10, or if it'll work in future versions, but I know it will obviously work in 1.11.2. So, first thing we're going to do to start is we're going to be placing our command block that is going to actually be doing incrementing of the stopwatch. And I will have every single one of these commands down in the description if you want to paste these into your command blocks, if that's easier rather than typing them. So the first command to increment the stopwatch is /scoreboard players add tickTime, so tick and then capital T for time, hiddenstats, all lowercase, and 1. And then we're going to put this on repeating, and there we go. So that is done for that. Then to actually start this, what we're going to do is we will have a wherever you want the block, we're going to have a block with a button on it, and I'll put a sign that says start. And wherever you want to have the command block works, but I'm just going to put it in the back. You can have it on any of the 4 sides, or on the top if you don't have the sign there, or underneath the block. But I'm just going to put it on the back. So you're going to put it there, and what you're going to do is you're going to find one of the 6 blocks adjacent to this repeating one that we just placed, whether it's left, right, forward, backward, top, or bottom. Put a block there, hit F3, and look at your looking at the bottom. So you can see it's the bottom thing, it's the bottom numbers in like the middle chunk on the left. Like XYZ would be at the top of that chunk. If you look at the bottom, it says looking at -1004, 4, 1360. So I'm going to remember some of those numbers, because this is where we want the redstone block to be placed. So we're going to be doing slash in this command block here, /set block. Now I know that was -1004 and 4, and then the last one is 1360. And then since we want a redstone block there, we will do Minecraft : redstone _ block. And that is done for that one. And that will start the stopwatch. We can break that block now that we know where that would be. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the thing to stop the stopwatch. So I'll put it right next to the start, right here. So I'll put a button on that and put a sign on top that says stop. And then I'll put the command block on the back. And we're going to be doing the same exact command. So I can hit Control A and Control C to copy that in, so we can have the coordinates, but instead of Minecraft : redstone block, we're just going to have Minecraft : air, so that it will break that redstone block and stop powering this, so that it will not keep incrementing. So there is the incrementing part. Now for the actual calculation part. This is where we're going to have the most command blocks. We're going to have a long chain here. So I think I'm just going to set the time to day, so it's easier to see, and I'll make sure that the sun will not set anymore, so that sun will stay where it is right now. So now for the main logic of the circuit. So you're going to need a lot of room here. We're going to have a big chain. You can wrap the chain around if you want. I'm just going to do it in a straight line so it's easier. So the first command block here is just going to be a normal command block with all three of these set on the same thing. So we want it to need redstone, and we want it to be on impulse and unconditional. So what we're going to do for the first one is /scoreboard players set time, which means like second time, SEC, and then capital T IME hidden stats zero. So I guess I should probably explain. So this one is just going to every game tick, it's going to add one to the tick time in the hidden stats. Hidden stats is actually the objective. It's doing a fake player called tickTime, so that will work. And then that's just going to place a redstone block so it'll power it, and place air so it'll depower it. This one right here, what it's doing is it's just in that hidden stats objective, it's going to be making a it's just going to be setting the player of sec time to 0. But if we actually want any of this to work, we're going to need to do 2 more commands just in the console. So if you notice right now, it wouldn't do anything at the moment because it's 2 more we need to do. So in the console, we need to do scoreboard objectives add hidden stats dummy, and that will add that objective. And then we will do a similar one, except and I just hit the up arrow there when I went into chat with T. Scoreboard objective add stats dummy, and then we're going to do stats with capital S as the display name, so that will show up well. I just kept it as lowercase in the command so it's easier. So there we go. So now we have that. And then all future command blocks in this line, when we first open it, we're going to make it chain, and we're going to make it always active. So the next command we're going to need is /scoreboard players operation sec time. They're the same formatting as last time. SEC capital T IME hidden stats all lowercase, and then space equals space tick time capital T and time hidden stats. So that is just going to be setting the sec time to be equal to the tick time at the moment. It sounds silly because tick time has to be 20 times the sec time, but it'll make sense in a second because the way the command blocks do operations with scoreboards is really odd, so you have to set it to do that first. So now we're going to put another command block in the chain. Make sure they're all facing in this direction, so you have to keep walking backwards so they're all facing toward you. Again, make it chain and always active. That's why we need to be on 1.9. And our third command is going to be /scoreboard players set ticks in sec, just like this. The reason why we're doing this is because we need to actually have a variable or a player in the objective that actually says how many ticks there are in a second, as weird as it is. And then we're going to do hidden stats 20 because there are 20 ticks in a second. You can't just divide something by 20. You have to divide one player's score by another player's score. So it has to divide the how many ticks there are by this ticks in sec score in hidden stats, which is 20. So that does the same thing as if we could just divide by 20 and just be a lot simpler if we could do something like that. So the fourth command that we're going to have to do, again, chain and always active, going to be /scoreboard players, if I can spell it, operation, again, sec time, hidden stats, space /equals space, meaning basically divided by ticks in sec hidden stats. Remember, you can copy and paste these from the description if you would like to, because that'd make it a lot easier. So basically this is just it's changing the sec time, which is actually currently how many ticks there are, into sec time divided by 20, which will give you the seconds. But the next, and then to actually make it show up, what we're going to do is for our next command, we're going to do /scoreboard players set seconds with a capital S so that it looks better when we actually show it. Stats 0. Stats are the actual players that are actually going to show up on the scoreboard. Hidden stats are like the hidden variables that you don't need to actually see. So chain and now it's active yet again. The next command, we'll add those, and we will do /scoreboard players operation seconds with a capital S stats space equals space sectime hidden stats. So this is just setting the seconds in the shown stats to the seconds in the hidden stats. So that with our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 command blocks here, that takes care of the seconds part. Now for the milliseconds part, we're going to start that off with our 7th command, chain and always active, which is going to be /scoreboard players set extra ticks hidden stats 0. So this will be the player that stores how many extra ticks we have in addition to the ticks that have already been used up. So like if we had like 165 ticks, 160 of those would already be used for the seconds, and then the 5 would be the extra ticks. So to figure that out, we're going to do another command block in front, chain and always active. And we're just going to be starting off with the what we did earlier, pretty much. Scoreboard players set, or no, scoreboard players operation, actually, sorry. Extra ticks, hidden stats, equals tick time in hidden stats. So right now the extra ticks will be the tick time because it has to put the output of whatever operation you're doing into the first input, which is another weird thing about the scoreboard operations. So right now it's just going to be setting it to the tick time, and then for the actual operation here, we're going to do /scoreboard players operation extra ticks hidden stats space % equals ticks and sec hidden stats. So you see we're using that ticks and sec again. If you've ever done programming, the % would be modulo, meaning basically the remainder of division. So this is going to be taking the remainder of however many, because right before that we set the extra ticks to the total tick time. So it's going to be dividing how many ticks there were by 20 and taking the remainder. That's how many ticks were not used up by the seconds part. Because another weird thing about scoreboard is that when it does division, it only takes the integer part. So this will take the millisecond part. I wish you could have it say like 12.25 seconds, but you can't have it like that. It will only do the integer. And I don't even think you can have decimals in scoreboard scores if I'm correct. So now we will make this next one, chain and always active. Don't worry, we're almost there. Only a few more left. So /scoreboard players set extra milliseconds hidden stats 0. Because we don't want to show the ticks. The ticks is weird. We want to show milliseconds. That's what people are more comfortable reading. Milliseconds versus game ticks in Minecraft. Only 5 commands left to go here. So the next one with chain and not conditional, make sure it's still on unconditional, always active. I hit that by accident. /scoreboard players operation, and this is going to look familiar. Extra milliseconds hidden stats space equals space extra ticks hidden stats. So this is very similar to what we're doing before. We're just setting the extra milliseconds temporarily to the extra ticks. And now we'll go chain and always active. For the next one, we're going to do /scoreboard players set milliseconds in tick in hidden stats to 50. Because a millisecond is a thousandth of a second. And since there are 20 game ticks in a second, there are 50 milliseconds in a game tick. So there we go. Now only 3 left to go. We're going to be doing a command similar to what we've done a few times before. So that's scoreboard, players, operation, extra milliseconds, hidden stats, space, asterisk equals milliseconds in tick, hidden stats. Because here we're actually doing the opposite of what we've done before. Make sure it's chain and always active. We're multiplying however many extra ticks there were by 50 to get how many extra milliseconds we have. Now for the next command, chain and always active, it will be /scoreboard players set milliseconds with a capital M, so it looks good in the scoreboard display. Stats, because now these are the stats we're actually going to be showing, 0. And the final command in this super long chain is /scoreboard players operation, milliseconds with a capital S. In stats, we're going to be saying equal to, so space equals space, however many extra milliseconds we had in hidden stats. The reason why we're not just setting it right to the milliseconds in the stats first is so that you don't have to see, like, if you have like lag, if like a laggy computer, you don't have to see all the calculations and the numbers changing. You just get to see the final result instantly. So that should be good. The only reason why this would not work is if we had some sort of problem where I made a typo or something. Hopefully that didn't happen. So there's just a few more things we have left to do. We need to do a reset. So the reset is what you're going to hit, like, once you've, because this will start the stopwatch and this will stop the stopwatch. And once you have finished reading it and whatever, you'll have to hit reset before you start it again. So for the reset command, we're actually going to have 3 commands. So we'll have a little chain. So how the reset is going to work is we're going to have one command block, just normal command block directly behind, like we've been doing with the start and stop. And this one is going to be /scoreboard players reset asterisk hidden stats. That'll reset everything in hidden stats. And then we're going to do /scoreboard, or no, not /scoreboard, /setBlock. And here we need to come over here. And we need to find the coordinates of this block. So I'll remember 2 of them right now, -10, 13, and 4. So put those in, -10, 13, 4. And then we will look at the final coordinate, which is 13, 54. Put in the 1354. And we will do Minecraft :air, and we'll do that on chain and always active. And then for the third and final command block in this chain, chain and always active as usual, and /scoreboard, very similar to the first one, just scoreboard players reset asterisk in stats. It's going to reset everything in the hidden, the non-hidden stats as well. So that will be all set for that part. And there's literally only one more thing we have to do. We just have to quickly grab a repeater. And I'm going to set it on 4 ticks. If I'm correct, then when I hit that, that should act. No, okay. So I guess we'll just grab some redstone dust on top. That should work now. Okay. That will not work. What we'll just do is we will we'll go underneath the ground. So we'll take an output from this here, and then we will do 4 tick delay. Now we'll take the output from the block, and then we'll put a command block here. So that will work good. So we'll just fill this in real quick. So that'll so now if we just did like /say hi or something, then we hit this and that should go after a bit. Yep, 4 tick delay. Perfect. So now we're just going to do quickly, we're going to do gamerule commandBlockOutput false, just so we don't have a ton of stuff getting spammed into the chat. And in this final one here, we're not going to have /say hi. We're actually going to copy and paste the second command from right over here. So Control A and Control C in. But instead of doing Minecraft Air, we're going to do Minecraft Redstone Block. So that should be everything completed except for the final command that we're going to put in the console, which is going to be /scoreboard objectives setDisplay sidebar stats. Lots of S's there. There we go. So how this will work is we will hit start, and that will put a redstone block here. That'll increment. Then when we stop, it's going to put air here, which will stop it. And then after it's had time to do that, it will activate this whole chain. It will do all the calculations. They'll show up in the sidebar. And then when you're done, you'll hit the reset button, which will clear both stats and hidden stats and put the air here. So let's test this thing out. So if I hit start, there we go, the redstone block places. You can see if I keep going in here, 41, 48, 55, this is the number of ticks. So now if we hit stop, you can see that it said on the side that it was 5 seconds and 950 milliseconds. And all we have to do to reset it is hit that button. So let's test it out. I'm not the best person in the world at counting seconds, but I should be able to get it approximately. So we'll try something. So 3, 2, 1, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12.5 seconds. So yeah, you can see this thing is accurate because obviously I am not a perfect human stopwatch. So the stopwatch and I are not going to sync up, but it's not because it's not accurate, because I'm not accurate. So the milliseconds is just thousandths of a second. So this is just exactly 12.5 seconds. And then just to reset it, we'll simply hit that button. If you want to see the behind the scenes calculations, we can do that last console command we did, except instead of stats, with the scoreboard objective set display sidebar, we'll do hidden stats. And then you will see how everything is in action. So we hit start and the tick time starts increasing. All the calculations go by so fast you can't actually see, because I think I'm fairly sure, I might be wrong, but I think all the command blocks in a chain all happen in the same game tick. If I'm wrong, then they happen within one game tick of each other. So still, like two commands right next to each other that like sets something and then changes it will happen in 1/10 of a second, or in like the same instant. Whichever way it happens, you can't tell. So if I just hit stop, you'll see like all the stuff like shows up at the same time, because that bit of delay was just the delay into this, so that thing would have time to stop. Like all that stuff showed up at the same time, but you can see how the total tick time was 6:23, and there was 31 seconds with 3 extra ticks, which is 150 extra milliseconds. So we should have 31 and 150. So if we just go back to the original one, then you see we have our 31 and our 150. So there you go. Now all you have to do is put these commands into your Minecraft world. If you're making some sort of mini game or something, even though it won't keep a running count as they're going, once the stop button is pressed, it will show you to a 20th of a second how long it took you to complete a course or to do whatever you're timing. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little command block video. It's actually the first redstone or command block related video I've done in a while, because I've been doing my survival series season 3. I think I'll just put that command block back just so I have a complete world here. That's a bit annoying that I managed to break that, but yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this little command block related video. Please leave a like on the video, and please subscribe to my channel. Maybe I will do more command block creations soon. Maybe I won't do any for a while. I'm really not sure, but I will try to keep up with the videos no matter what kind they are, as best as I can. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like on the video, and please subscribe to my channel to join the Frog Pod. And I will see you next time for another video. Goodbye!